The Clever Adventure podcast has joined forces with the World of Ability Podcast Network, opening you up to the world of travel. Um, so, welcome, Lori.
Hi. So I'm Lori. I'm your host, and I have the opportunity to be interviewing and having a conversation with Miss Nikki Hall. And we are going to be talking about legal and ID theft protection. And I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Lori. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So, can you tell us a little bit, maybe your backstory or how you found your company, and tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm actually from the real estate industry. I worked as an escrow officer and manager for over 30 years and ended up getting sued personally by 3 people who were doing loan modifications. And so I came across one of my real estate agents who shared LegalShield with me. And so I knew that I could have used the service. So I signed up for that, but knew that there were so many business owners in the community, senior citizens that really could use our service. So I signed up to be able to refer it and really have done it spare time, part time as a side gig for many years and really just focusing on doing it full time the past couple years.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I got you're very successful in it. If I remember correctly, it's because I guess you're pretty high up in leadership too, right? Because you manage a team.
Yeah, so we are executive directors, my husband Brad and myself, which is one of the highest ranks in the company. But we've also been named the regional managers for our tri state area. So we cover California, Arizona, and Nevada for our region. And so, it's just great being able to help other people's teams have success in addition to helping our own team. And, we have so many people who really just do this as a side gig, just earning an extra few $100s a month, or, people who can earn thousands per month. It's completely up to them.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So, is there any so all right, so let's talk a little bit more about the benefits, I guess. So what is there, like one law firm, or how do the law firms work, or is it its own law firm?
Yeah, so what it is think of kind of like an HMO for medical insurance. We all pay a little bit in each month, and we get access to a law firm in each state. So each law firm has every type of law. It might be real estate, might be estate planning, it might be tax law. You're going to be able to pick up the phone, talk to an attorney who has an average of 20 years of experience, and be able to get the advice that you need on an unlimited number of issues. Maybe you need a contract reviewed. You can send that in and have an attorney review that and get back to you within 3 business days. Maybe you need an attorney letter to help you with an issue. Like one of the issues I used, when we're going to talk about travel, we went on a vacation and they wanted us to sign a rental agreement. So we sent it to our attorney to review, and he said it's too vague. It leaves you liable if anything happens, even if it's not your fault. So I suggest you cancel. When we canceled, they kept $825 of our deposit as a cancellation fee. So then we were able to get an attorney letter sent to them, got our $825 back, and I'll show you too. This is what our letters look like. There's a good, page and a half letter, and, a bunch of attorneys up at the top. So, most people pay a good $1,000 for one of those letters. We get those for free. So it's definitely something that will save people thousands of dollars, really just getting the advice, contract review, attorney letters. We also give you your will, healthcare power of attorney, and financial power of attorney for free with our membership. And so we have, 3 different options so people can choose whatever fits with them and their family.
That's awesome. So like if I get a speeding ticket, is that something that would be covered too?
Yes, so we do have a 10-day waiting period. We don't want to cover that speeding ticket from 10 days ago. But when you do have our service, you're going to get the advice regarding that. If you do need an attorney to show up in court for you, it's a $79 copay, so it's very well worth it. My husband and I were going to Paso Robles in California, got pulled over for driving on the shoulder. And so we took pictures to show that it looked just like a lane. Ended up getting our $237 back. And what's even better, the next time we went to Paso Robles, they had a right turn only sign. And so I call that my husband Brad's sign. And now we've made it safer for the whole community there in Paso Robles.
That's
so it's
awesome.
definitely a win-win.
That is definitely a win-win. Absolutely. So do we need to have like a plan so what plan, I guess, who does the plan cover? Does it cover individuals? Does it cover families? How does that work?
Great question. So we do have a plan that starts at $29.95 per month, and that covers either an individual or a spouse, domestic partner with the member. We do have a plan that's $37.95 that includes the whole family. And so that covers kids up to the age of 26 as long as they're living in home or in college. It covers children that have a mental or physical disability, covers them as long as you're 51% financially responsible and that they're living at home. It covers them for life. So I think that's definitely a great thing to have, because things are going to happen where they can't speak for themselves. And so you're able to still speak on their behalf when it comes to their legal matters.
Yeah.
And then we have an additional plan that's $49.95 that includes family trusts as well for only a $250 per person copay. So definitely we're saving thousands of dollars for people on getting their estate planning done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you also have ID protection, right?
Correct.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. The nice thing about our identity theft protection is, wonderful for people to have it. Other companies out there are doing a great job. However, some of them provide resolution when we provide full service restoration. So we're going to do whatever it takes, as long as it takes, to get you back to pre-theft status. We have licensed private investigators that are here in the States, and they're going to help do it for you. So you can just sign a limited power of attorney and they will take care of it. But we also, are going to give you that monitoring. We monitor everything on the dark web. We also are going to give you things like social media reputation management, so you can get any photos brought to your attention that you might be tagged in, so you can get those removed. We help people get them off those data broker sites to keep you hopefully getting less spam calls. And we also give you a private VPN so you can search Wi-Fi securely, and password manager and malware protection are all included with our low cost on that. And those plans start at $14.95 for an individual, $29.95 for a family for one bureau monitoring.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I know. Little side note. I got involved in a crypto scam, and I'm like, I feel like I knew that this was wrong. And we had the ID, and my husband's like, you talked to who? And so thankfully none of our stuff actually ended up on the dark web, but I know that could have been really, really bad had it gone that way. But yeah, that definitely gives a lot of people a peace of mind. Do you have to bundle, or can you have them separate, or what's?
Yeah, you can have them separate. Of course, having them together you're going to have the most protection, but you can do them separately. We can really work on what works for you and your family.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, just I know with my kids and their disabilities, I know the lifetime. I don't know if it'll work for everybody or for all my kids, but definitely for at least one out of three. That's 33% chance. So yeah, absolutely. Um, there's also other member perks, aren't there?
Yes, so we want to make sure that you're getting the best value possible. We have about 400 companies that participate. And, we're able to help you with things like, maybe going to an Angels baseball game. Now you're going to save some money getting those tickets. And now you have money for getting a hot dog and a beer. And so, you can save a little bit on all these different companies. We've got cell phone providers, we have printing capabilities. Even we've had someone purchase appliances, save a couple thousand, and someone who purchased a vehicle saved $5,000. So you can definitely save more money than the membership even costs. And it looks like there's a comment in the chat, so I'm not sure if you need to look at that as
Yeah,
well.
we're on Facebook. I know
Okay.
Facebook, and I'm not 100%. I'm hoping YouTube, but it hasn't come through. So if not, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Well, sounds good.
Yeah. So, okay. So I guess relating to travel, so like you and I are both in Arizona, but like you're so close to California. So does it, like, I guess, how does that work if we're traveling to use the services?
Yeah, so you can just access anything for member perks or for our service on the app. And so you just tap the app. You can get an attorney on the phone 24/7, especially if something like you're in an accident, maybe you're being questioned, detained, if someone used your identity in a different state and you're finding out because you're being pulled over for a taillight being out. You can tap the app, get an attorney on the phone 24/7. And it's all of US and Canada. And so you can access it so easily just right there on the app. You can also schedule a time for a consultation to be called back right there on the app. But you're going to call for anything. You're going to call your main provider firm in whatever state you're located at, and then they'll transfer you to what other state you are dealing with. So maybe you have a contract that's in, Washington. They're now going to transfer you to an attorney that handles Washington law. So then you can deal with that. So that's the great thing. It covers you for all of US, and Canada we have as well.
That's awesome. I love it. And it gives you that peace of mind that if something happens, at least if you're traveling domestically or even in Canada, that you have that protection. Because I know sometimes just with my kids, I know my kids like to get out of hand, but just to have that support that, you have it. If you don't, you have it. Hopefully you don't need it, right? Like we all should have car insurance, and hopefully we don't need it.
Well, and that's a great point too, is we all have these insurances, but what happens if that insurance company decides that your claim is not valid? What do you do then? And that's a great reason to have LegalShield. So that way LegalShield can look at, okay, are they denying this claim? Is it something that's legal? And then oftentimes just having an attorney letter sent to your insurance company will help them to see that, yes, what you are claiming is legit and they really should pay you. So, it's great to have LegalShield to really be the enforcer of whatever other insurances you have.
Yeah, having a house fire where we had to. I did send an attorney letter because I have LegalShield, and we sent the attorney letter, never heard back. Finally, heard back, and then so I've between that, and then we had a rental property that we were living in, and there were some problems there too. So I've definitely been using my LegalShield benefits for
Wonderful.
sure. So,
And thank you for being one of our valued members.
absolutely. It's been a peace of mind just from a like small business owner, but also like a parent to know that like, hey, am I getting taken advantage of or you know, some of those other things. So is there, so as a member, I know that there's like, if I want to pursue something further, then like what does the legal shield cover versus like if it needs to go to court? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so, of course, we're a shield, we're not a sword. So if someone's suing you, we do have lawsuit protection built into the plan. So as long as it's not pre-existing, that would cover you. But
Okay.
if you need to sue somebody, you're still going to get the advice up front. You're going to get the contract review, maybe an attorney letter if that will handle it. And then at that point, if you need to pursue going to court, you're still going to save 25% discount. So, for things like child custody matters or divorce, you're going to be paying thousands of dollars. So we're going to be able to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just with that 25% discount.
Yeah. Yeah. Having gone through a couple of different legal things, it's definitely worth it. So absolutely. All right. Let's talk a little bit about travel. What has, I guess, where have you been and what was your favorite trip you've been on?
I have a few favorite trips. So one of ours that we went to the Bahamas, we stayed at the Atlantis Resort, which was amazing. But we actually got to dance with Britney Spears on the dance floor. So that was really fun. But, I love those all expense paid vacations. And so that was, one of my favorites for that. But my husband and I, for our 10th anniversary, we went to St. Martin. And St. Martin really just has the best beaches ever. I mean, from what I've seen at least. And so that was just such a wonderful, relaxing vacation. Everyone there was so friendly, especially on the Dutch side. And then, so those were two of my favorites as far as that. But, for a kind of a local, because we've grown up in Southern California and now we live over in Arizona. But with my kids, Yosemite was just one of my all-time favorite trips with them. Getting to go horseback riding, kayaking, hiking, so many outdoor activities, so fun for the kids. But we had stayed at one of these cabins and we were playing Uno with the kids, and so much fun. But we were watching TV at the same time, and one of my clients was on a game show. So it was fun seeing my client win like $40,000.
Wow.
So, a lot of fun, great memories from that trip. So coming up, we are going to New Orleans in April. So that's going to be one of our convention trips, but we haven't been there. So that's going to be fun.
Awesome.
But, bucket list, I definitely want to go to Greece and Venice. So hopefully in the next few years, we'll be heading that way.
Ooh, sounds fun. Absolutely. Let's see. So what are you hoping to do in New Orleans? Have you done any research into that, or is everything kind of just, it's already planned?
Yeah, mostly we have, a convention, so that part will be planned. But definitely we want to look at getting some fun activities in. So, we've looked at a couple things like they have where they teach you how to make certain cuisine and stuff like that. So I definitely love to do something that's more like what the locals do.
Yeah.
And so we always, wherever we go, try to do something where we can really see how the locals live. Yeah. And so that's one of the things. But yeah, I'd love to hear from you if you have any great adventures for us to do in New Orleans.
Yeah, so there's a couple different things. I have a couple suppliers that the nice thing is I can send you a link and I still get the commission, because when you travel, if you book your trip, you're responsible for everything. Hey, I've got to figure it out. If I book it, I get the commission and I'm the one that's figuring out. So you just have to make one phone call, just like your LegalShield. You just have to make that one phone call. And, it's, when you book yourself, you're out all those costs, right? And you have, like, the commission obviously goes back to that company. So you can use Expedia, I can use Expedia. I might get a better discount. It might be the same. Theme parks are some of the more common ones where the price is the exact same. But it's that commission. It's, do you want it to go back to the theme park? Do you want it to go back to that company? And so it's like, hey, you're supporting a small business. But yeah, absolutely. I know there's like different, like, I know you can do like the Easy Street tour. There's like tours and food tours. And if you want to, like, they have different like bar crawls or things like that. And so they have a lot of local people, and it's local companies that actually like live there, work there. It's their companies. And so we just use a platform. One of my favorites is Viator. Just because it's simple and easy, and you get to pick the day, the time. If there's multiple times, you get to create your own schedule versus, oh, hey, we've got to coordinate. Okay, I want to do this time. Here's the days, here's the times. And you can even do it last minute as long as you have the link that I send you every 30 days. Like, hey, I'm associated with this or that, like credit or whatever. So what happens is if you click on my link, or like, the link tree is probably the easiest because you can go through. And if you click on it, you have 30 days. So let's say while you're in New Orleans, you're like, hey, let's see if there's anything available. You can go in, book it, and I still get the commission. So It doesn't have to be pre-planned. It could literally be like, hey, I want to do this.
Oh, great. Yeah, that would be great because we have, so many people going. I've got like about 20 people in my group that are going. Mm-hmm. And so if we can all kind of get together at the same time to go somewhere, that'd be great. But then I can pass the link on to them too. So if they want to do anything in addition, they can.
Yeah. So, and that's
I love giving back to small business owners. I'd much rather put the money in your hands than in any of theirs directly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any other questions you have for me?
Yeah, so I know that you do specialize in all travel with all disabilities. And so what are some good things to watch out for when we're traveling with those who are disabled, or different things that you can help with that we might not have thought of?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're staying domestically, we have the ADA laws, or the Americans with Disability Act. We have those laws that there has to be things that meet certain criteria. So like, for example, if somebody is like, hey, I need a kitchen, but I still need ADA, you probably aren't going to find that at like an Airbnb or VRBO. So we would have to look at like one of those extended stays where they have those accommodations because they are required by law. Once you go outside the US, there are no actual ADA laws. So they will make accommodations, but it doesn't say, hey, everything has to be wheelchair accessible. Everything has to. So for example, I know that there is only one resort in Antigua and Barbuda that is actually like wheelchair accessible. Other than that, the resorts are like, they don't have elevators, or you have to cross sand or things like that. So to know that, I've done a lot of research to say, hey, what is the environment just between, sensory overload? I asked a person that represented a company, and she's like, I'm like, how do you handle sensory or things like that? And she's like, we are not good for that crowd. That is great to know. I love to know what is a good place and what is a place to keep them away. Because obviously we want to make sure whoever is traveling has a good time and is not stressed about things. And that's some of that research that I do, and that knowledge that I have purposely sought out for to know how to help my clients. I also have, so like with sensory disabilities, autism travel, things like that, I did not know this until I became a travel agent, but there are like 250, I don't remember the exact number, but there's about 250 airports across the globe that have sensory rooms. And so Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport has a sensory room. And so I have a list of those. And so I can say, hey, let's travel. So you're in that time. So if you do need to be at a layover, things like that. I also am like, okay, it's already going to be a traumatic experience. How many, do we need to have a direct flight, or do we need to have a non-stop, or should we have a layover? Okay, well, it's going to take a minimum of 3 layovers. Okay, we'll do the 3 layovers. How can we mitigate this? And so, but it can't be a 40-minute layover. It's got to be like about a 2-hour layover, because that they're going to have to calm down and all of those things. And then, so I can help with the sensory, but I can also help with the physical disability. So my special needs group, they have a lot of mobility stuff, or if you need like incontinence or lifts. So the way that I like to help my clients is, what do you need on a daily basis? Do you need headphones? You got to make sure that you take those. Do you need certain medications, right? Do you need, do you need a commode? Do you need a hospital bed? Do you need oxygen? Do you need a lift for whoever's going with you? Do you have a wheelchair? Do you want a motorized scooter versus a push manual wheelchair on a cruise ship, right? You don't want to be, your arms are going to get, unless you're young and fit. So like a grandparent or someone that's like, hey, I really struggle with mobility, but I want a scooter. And cruises are great because it's literally, you walk on, it's in your stateroom, and then you leave it in your stateroom and you walk off, and it's taken care of. And if you need like a prescription or script from your doctor for that company helps with that. And then they only work with travel agents. So for those types of things, they don't work with like the general public. To get their stuff, you need to use a travel agent. And then I have a few other resources and things like that. So I like to play the devil's advocate, where I am the one that's saying, okay, are you able to go through stairs? Are you able to lift the scooter or the wheelchair, or do you need to have somebody there with you? Okay, who can go with you? So just those things where what does your everyday life look like? Okay, so what's going to look like when you travel? Are you going to be able to do X, Y, and Z? Do you need a kitchen? Do you need an accessible bathroom? What is that going to look like? And so it's my job to make traveling as seamless as possible compared to your everyday life.
Yeah, that's great information. And there's so many degrees of disabilities too. And so, like my mother doesn't necessarily want to travel anymore because she feels like it would be so much of a trouble to do so. Mm-hmm. And so is there any types of travel that you feel like are easier for someone like that?
So then I would have to say cruises, just because it's whether you want an ocean cruise or even a river cruise. You can do river cruises in the US if you don't want to go international, or if you're willing to go to Europe. There's even river cruises in Asia. So there's river cruises around. I think that would probably be the easiest, because you can, you unpack once. There's everything on the ship. If you want to get off at the port, you can walk around, you can plan an outing, or you can just stay on the ship. And sometimes the spa packages are cheaper when you're in when you're in a port, because everybody's going to leave. And so, get a little discount on that, or, things like that. Or you could, a cruise, or you could also do a training excursion. So whether you want to be, there's like Amtrak, but there's also different train excursions. So if you want to do like a national the national parks. You can go to a number of different national parks. And so anything where the transportation is as part of the journey, I would recommend, just because then that way it's, well, we're going to these different places. I don't have to be an extra bother. Yeah, maybe, hey, I need a little bit extra, support, or, hey, let's get all of us, you, and if you have siblings or things like that, or anybody else that wants to go, and just be like, hey, well, we're here if you need the support, but, if you want to do your own thing or you don't need help, that's fine. But, we're here if you need to. So it's kind of like that, assisted living. If you need the help, they're there. If you don't, you're fine on your own. So those are the two things that I would recommend that, for
That's
somebody
great.
that wants to travel.
Now, and then you are able to arrange the additional transportation as well, like trains, or like that's one thing that I noticed when I went to Europe, was you could take a train between two different countries very easily. So you're able to arrange all those extra little things.
So if you have a plan, like you want to go to Greece and to Italy, if you want to, you just tell me how long, and you're like, hey, we want to resort hop or hotel hop because we want to go to different cities. You can say, we'll figure it out. Or you can say, Lori, I need you to figure out how I get from we want to go to this city. We're going to stay here 3 days. Okay. I always do 1 day for a travel day, just because you have to check out of wherever you're at. You have to get to the transportation, whether it's a bus, whether it's a train, whether it's a driver, doesn't matter. You have to get to the transportation, or somehow you have the time that it's going to take. Is it a 2-hour trip? Is it a 5-hour trip? Whatever. And travel days are just exhausting. So, and then you've got to check into your new place to stay. So that's kind of a full day, even for a regular neurotypical person, like even not even with a disability. And so I just say, hey, this is your travel day. If you're able to see something else or you want to add something else, absolutely. But I just say it's a travel day. And, I get you the tickets, or we work on that. Here's all the information. Okay, here's your next place of checking in. Okay, you're going to stay there 4 days, whatever. And so I can do all that navigation. I love doing that because it's, okay, here's the cost. And there's different levels. So it's like, how much do you want to spend versus how much, what comforts do you need or comforts do you want? And so it's my job to make sure that you go where you want and how you get there. And that's one of the best things about what's called bespoke travel, which is basically customized travel.
That's amazing. And yes, I would love to have you just figure that all out for me.
Yeah. So, and that's the nice thing, is that it doesn't necessarily, and I don't charge extra. Like the only thing I charge extra for is if I am booking a flight, and that's all I'm doing. So if you're like, hey, I want a package, I want to do this, or you're like, hey, here's a group tour, things like that. So there's a lot of different things with travel that it's like, what are you looking for? Do you want to, like Scotland and Ireland, because they're the same island essentially. But I have a couple of different tour operators that you can stay in one place and go out each direction, or you can say, hey, we're going to hotel hop, but they have like the chartered bus for you. So there's different things, different places. It just depends on what you want, where you want to go. If you like a organized tour for, hey, these are the places we're going to go, or hey, I really want to go to this place, and this place, and I haven't found a tour that does it. That's fine. I can make that your own. I can make it the Hall tour, custom tour, so, or if anybody else wants to go with you. And that's the nice thing, is people like to travel with friends. And so if you're like, hey, we want to go on this trip, we've been talking to, a couple of our friends and they want to go too, what do they need to do? They just have to call. And I can just make them, it's just, hey, here's the same places where they're staying, where you're staying. We just get them an extra room.
That's perfect. So now I just need to get some people together and find somewhere to go.
Yes, absolutely. It has been a joy talking with you, Nikki. I always love our conversations. I do want to mention how we met is Nikki actually referred me through a different conversation, but she referred me to a group called Christian Business Partners. And she is the current president of our USA online chapter. And if you're interested, we meet Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific, whatever Pacific time it is. I love it when Arizona is on mountain because it gives me an extra hour. But it's cbpnetworking.com if you want to go and find either a local chapter or something that works better with your time zone. But Nikki has been an amazing leader in that group. I look forward to seeing her every week. And it's always been a joy to be a part of that group.
Well, I thank you so much for your time and having me as one of your very first hosts or first interviewees. And so, yes, thank you so much for all that you do for our Christian Business Partners group as well. You're definitely a wonderful networker, and we appreciate all that you do for us.
Absolutely. So we have Nikki is on my website. If you go to lcleveradventures.com under show, you can see her bio, her picture, her website. So if you want to get her in contact with her, and obviously that's got my information. So like and follow Nikki, like and follow Clever Adventures, the podcast. And we are just so excited for this to grow and to see where Clever Adventures and LegalShield can take on the world next.
Awesome. Yes, I thank you so much. And we're looking to help all of our community, whether it's travel or legal related.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks everyone for watching, tuning in, and we will see you in 2 weeks with another friend from CBP, Miss Joni. So we are excited to have her. So thank you so much, everyone, and we will see you later. Bye.
Take care.